I kinda regret getting divorced 3 years ago. No, I don't miss my ex-husband, nor do I think that he was worth staying, but my life did not really improve. I actually feel like things are worse now. We were together for 10 years, and it was my decision to end things. We did not cohabitate well, and he was struggling with personal issues. His mom had been diagnosed with Alzheimer, and he hated his job, which he decided that the way to deal was 100% alone, not including me, and we grew apart more and more. We were roommates who fought over how many clothes should go in the machine. Each time, eventually, I had enough. I remembered being pretty happy before my marriage, and while single. My parents are lawyers, so I simply consulted them. I did not get married on paper, do not have kids. Looking back now, I know that this was not a smart move. They were more parents than lawyers, and I don't think I got a fair deal when splitting our assets, and 4 dogs. I had left a successful business to move to another state for him to pursue his career. I had just opened a new business when the pandemic hit, so when I decided to leave the marriage in 2002, I was not back on my feet yet. I got all 4 dogs. He did not want them anymore and did not contribute one bit. I got a reasonable amount of money from selling our house, but that was it. It was not much, since it wasn't fully paid, and I needed that money to support myself and the dogs while trying to quickly build another business. I moved to a small apartment. I went back to school to be better at said business. I worked nights from Tuesdays, Sundays, and studied on Mondays. My neighbor gave me hell because of many dogs in the apartment. I lost 50 pounds. I did not make enough money. Eventually, my mom told me to move into her property in a rural area. She needed help to set up a restaurant there, so the property could generate some income. I came, and now I live in the middle of nowhere. I worked hard for the restaurant. The first bureaucracy obstacle, my mom ditches it. She no longer wants to do it. I search for jobs downtown, did it for a while. They are not great jobs nor great pays. I move from one job to another. One of them simply stops paying me for 2 months. My mom says she wants an Airbnb here. I work my ass off. She gives up again. I find another great freelance job, which is almost a miracle, but it's over now. I am looking for work now. Lost one of my dogs suddenly in January this year, and another one to a lengthy, nasty cancer on March. My friends live 2 or 3 hours away, and if I don't go to them, they don't come to me. I've been here for 1 or 2 years and had 2 visits total. Went through the loss of my babies practically alone. Also, treating and cremating them was extremely expensive. My mom loves me, but she doesn't really like me in a way that we would spend quality time together. So we never do. Also, she has my 95-year-old narcissist grandma to take care of. Am not in a good place financially. Am grieving all by myself. Am lonely. Am jobless. Yes, I am on therapy. Shopping for a new professional, since the one I found here did not really help me. And have an appointment with a stellar psychiatrist in a bigger town by the end of the month. Am clearly depressed. I also have OCD, but if I was still married, I would have someone to share the grief with me. I would have company for a drink or a meal. I would be able to talk about my dogs for hours and know that he cared. I think he did. I would have a business. Maybe not successful, but I would not be bored all day long. I would still be closer to my friends. I would not need to worry about money. I would not feel abandoned by mom living right next to her. I feel like I just switched problems, and the new ones seem even worse. I guess I am asking if you can relate or even have a piece of advice. I did not stay long in jobs here to make good friends. I have acquaintances, but this being the middle of nowhere where Ubers don't come and roads are dirt, no one wants to come here. I very rarely see colleagues. I bust my ass off to find a pet sitter and a private driver, so I can have a drink with very superficial acquaintances. It feels so empty. I feel like I'll get lost and go crazy amid my negative and obsessive thoughts. Thanks for reading. Mine was just about a year ago, and I feel this. I don't want to be back with her at all, but I miss the little things. Someone to vent to another person in the house. My dogs, the life we built. We were always great friends, but didn't work as lovers. I constantly read old journal entries to remind myself of the bad times, how miserable it was at the end. My friends all live so far away, and my friends here have their own families, and I lost quite a few friends in the divorce. Life would have been simpler if I had stayed, and the journey to getting myself back is taking longer than I initially anticipated. I do laugh more. Now I'm not constantly walking on eggshells. Hearing that she is with someone new really didn't affect me at all. We still talk from time to time. I go out and do things, meet new people. but it's just lonely. I've been unable to work out for 6 months now due to health issues, and it's taking a toll mentally. We'll get better. Just the hard times are just that, but one day they will end, and we will all be better off. I agree. I was married for 10+ years, moved in with family to start over. It's been a living nightmare. We traded problems, basically. You hit it on the nose. I didn't want to give up, but we eventually needed to split ways. I have full custody as well of kid, while ex-wife lives in our old place, and I'm with family, barely getting by. This seems like one big nasty trick. She lives the free life, while I reap actually being a parent and divorced and restarting. I honestly understand why people plan for failure in marriage ahead of time. It is sloppy, and the person who has to leave is thrown in fire. Story 2. I do know that the details aren't super important, and the fact anything happened at all is a reason to be done with for good. The circumstances of the cheating are hard for me to stop fixating on. Has anyone else ever been told the truth and have it proved? From your partner or the other person in my past, I've even known people who actually got the truth from a friend of their cheating partner, or even a family member of a cheating partner. Does it even matter? We aren't together and never will be. Again, I'm not married to this guy, thank God. We hadn't even dated a full year. We don't have kids, we do not have mutual friends, and it's likely we will never interact again, unless by chance. And if anyone has found out the actual truth, did this help? Did it make you move on faster when you didn't have to second guess? Has anyone else found it easier to accept the matter when they're told the undeniable truth? A part of me really wants clarity because I feel like it would be easier for me to get over completely if I just knew for sure they slept. Also, my ex has a very reckless lifestyle when it comes to drug use and protection during sleep, and the person he cheated on me with is not monogamous themselves. Since mid-February, he's used drugs again and told me in his past. He shared needles, though denies it now. He also denied cheating, though, for weeks before coming clean, and he's the least trustworthy addict I know. Like, I think he actually lies so much, he ends up believing his own lies. It's up to be honest. Him and his ex actually did reinfect each other twice with chlamydia when they first got together years ago. I don't know why he told me that, but he did. So I feel like if I had a timeline, it would be beneficial if I do end up positive with something. Later on, I got a full STD panel and exam done yesterday at the OB. It wasn't a fun experience telling the doctor about the situation or that I didn't know the exact timeline of when I've been exposed. I'm only aware of one heroin relapse, which was the first week of March, I think 26 or so days ago. We usually saw each other 1 or 2 a week and tended to have a lot of sleep. I have an IUD, so we never used contraceptive. Some of the results were posted last night, all negative. This morning, I think everything except syphilis and HIV have been posted all negative too. But I guess I have a really high level of WBC, which when I Googled said usually indicates there's an infection somewhere in my body. I am not a medical professional at all, and don't want to act like I know what that means, but it was noted as abnormal. The doctor did ask me to identify the instances of his drugs use, and I said for sure the one in early March, but that he lies frequently and has never admitted to using heroin to me, without having actually no way to deny his use. I don't have any way of finding out if he doesn't tell me, as we don't live together and are not in constant communication every day. It would be very easy for him to claim he had stuff to work on or plans and then just use without my knowledge, and thus I may have been exposed more than once. I really don't around with my health and have never had an STD, no judgment to people who have. It's not the biggest deal, but I've always had a lot of health anxiety and am worried I may have been exposed to something more serious like HIV or hepatitis or syphilis due to the nature of his lifestyle and his inability to be honest about infidelity and drug use. Wondering if anyone found that the truth helped them move on faster and more effectively from their partner's infidelity, or if knowing the timeline of the cheating is important if health concerns arise later. I think it only matters if you want to try to repair what you have or had. If you're walking away, ultimately, it doesn't matter, though it does send you crazy. My ex kept a diary on it, so I had it all there in front of me in her handwriting. But there were still questions over certain details, certain things, which I'd noticed that at the time I couldn't quite place. But whether I'd have ever gotten the truth or not is another question I'd built my life around. Her moved to another country and stuff, so we did try to repair what we'd had, but it was to no avail. Every day, I'd have a new question and an answer, maybe forthcoming, maybe not. If I had my time again, I'd have walked away as soon as I found out. There are different kinds of truth in this. There's what you know you don't know, and what you don't know you don't know. You've personally already got so much in the first and second column that the third is pointless to consider. It won't help. I was in a similar situation with my wife. She wasn't on drugs or anything, but I believed her while she did what she wanted with at least one other man for an extended period of time. She never fully came clean in order to protect herself. I didn't let her have that. I knew enough to know what happened. That had to be enough for me. I made my decision based on what I knew to be the case, not what she said, and I haven't looked back. I'd suggest you get tested again in 6 and 12 months while avoiding unprotected, vulgar contact. Some viral infections take a while to show on the tests. In the meantime, I'd also suggest the fact that you have to do that at all is enough to get over any thought about what you might not know and never think about him again. He did this to you. In the future, you also need to realize you can't fix drug addicts and liars, no matter how much you love them. No matter how good their heart is or how good their intentions are, they are sick and lonely. They can overcome it. I know this because I used to be addicted to opioids pills way back in the day. It took a lot of work to realize. I was self-medicating to deal with psychological issues I was born with. I had to realize this, then want to fix my behavior, and then push to do it. I had several girlfriends during that time that saw who I could be and tried to fix me. These were beautiful, smart, amazingly driven girls too, like young attorneys and med students. I let every one of them down because no matter how hard they tried, I didn't want to admit I needed to change. Put forth the effort to change or deal with the pain. I was masking. I tend to digress, but my point is that devoting time to realizing the potential of others is always worthwhile. But you have to know when to protect yourself. Drug use and an appetite for random, unprotected sleep will always disqualify a person. If they tell you that truth, you listen and you run. That should be enough. You're worth it too. Don't get so deep into fixing someone else that you forget to take care of yourself. Hope you're safe, well, and moving on in the right direction. Sorry if this wasn't helpful. Story 3. I found out my boyfriend of 3 years has been cheating on me ever since we started dating. A few days ago, I got a sudden call from his family that he was sent to the ER. I'm not going to elaborate on this further to shorten the story, and that they're just waiting for him to be transferred to the ICU. So, immediately after ending the call, I drove to the hospital to check on his condition and to be with his family for support. When I arrived there, his mom told me everything that had happened that day, and then she gave me all of his belongings, including his phone. While waiting, we stayed in the chapel inside the hospital to pray for my boyfriend. That's when his phone chimed, and I saw that it was a notification from a dating app. After praying, I excused myself to check his phone. He was very active in that app and saw a lot of recent conversations. I clicked on one thread and saw they transferred their conversation to Telegram. And that's where I saw all the conversations and services he availed, even dating back before we even started dating. I love him so much, and he's been so good to me. I did not know he was living a double life. I don't know what to do now. His family says they need me since he responds to my voice the most. I can't tell his family about it because it will destroy them. He's also such a good son to them. I can't tell my family and friends about it either because he's loved by everyone. Should I wait for him to recover and then confront him about it? Or should I just leave him now and never look back? Or should I stay and try to work on our relationship? I'm sorry, and this is going to sound harsh, but I don't think you need to be there for him in the hospital. He betrayed you, potentially put your life at risk for STIs, lied to you. I am sorry, but you don't owe him anything. I would tell his family the truth, or at least tell them. It's too painful for you to be at the hospital. No reason for you to have to be around him while you are healing from this betrayal. First of all, I'm so sorry this has happened to you. I'm sure it wasn't easy seeing those messages. It hurts to know the person you loved the most would actually betrayed you like that. Just know it was never your problem. Don't take it personal. It has nothing to do with you. If he has the heart to cheat on you from the start, don't think he is a good person, like how you think he is. Sometimes we sort of create an amazing image of how our partner is, but actually they are not who we think they are. It's a hard pill to swallow, but I think you deserve better. Unfortunately, he is now in the ICU and his family needs you. Perhaps you should wait till he recovers and sort it out later, hear what he has to say. I do hope he gets better, though sending loves and hugs.